Mineral supplement developed in Alberta, EMPowerplus, has been helping Canadians with a mental illness known as bipolar disease, manic depressive. Tremendous cost to the individuals, a high risk of suicide.
It felt like I was somewhere standing watching myself while I was here just bursting and like a volcano, all mad.
This has brought me to recognize a new me, and has allowed me to become, you know, a new person.
Province of Alberta, when they heard about the effect that EMPowerplus was having on Albertans, they said, why don't we look into this? There's huge costs associated with it. And Mr. Speaker, they set up a $544,000 study.
The decrease in their symptoms is of a magnitude that is very impressive. Any medication that ever had this effect would catch a lot of people's attention.
Health Canada hears about this and moves in to shut down the study. Shame. Mr. Speaker, I mean, is there no room for science to progress the treatment of disease?
I know that for a decade before this supplement, I made over a dozen suicide attempts, and I really am lucky to be standing before you today.
They sent the police in to raid this little company in Raymond, Alberta, and raid their computers, and has done everything to obstruct delivery of a product.
I put in a phone call to Health Canada, where I was immediately flipped over to a mental health crisis line, where they have a script that says that you are mentally ill, you need to be under the care of your physician. Please go to the hospital. If you run out of your supplement, you will not have this dangerous drug anymore. We're looking out for your best interest.
An informed consumer is a far better judge of their health care needs than any Health Canada bureaucrat in Ottawa.
I just ask that you please let me keep my quality of life. Let me continue as a productive member of society.
Now there's over 3,000 Canadians receiving help from this product, and yet Health Canada would move to take it off the market, Mr. Speaker.
I love this country and I'm proud of my government, but right now I'm really scared at what they're doing.
Is there no room for science to progress the treatment of disease?
As a result of Health Canada's actions, we ended up in a 4-year battle in the courts. We ended up in the end in July of 2006 in actually having a court endorsement that went against Health Canada's actions. Findings of fact, these are things that are actually findings in the law through the courts. Thousands of individuals who have found relief from mental illness through the supplement without the negative side effects of conventional medications were relying on us, Truehope, to continue to sell and distribute the product and to maintain the Truehope program. So the courts accepted in the entirety of the protocol that we operate with. They accepted the means in which we assist the mentally ill. They accepted the fact that we've actually recommended medication reductions. They effectively accepted the fact that literally thousands of people suffering with varying different levels of mental illness, different diagnoses, were assisted far beyond what the conventional medications had ever been able to offer. So that's been an exciting thing. And that was provided by the Honorable G.M. Mager on July 28th of last year. We continue now as an entity here, supported by the courts. Here's the actual news release that came out on CTV News.
CTV News with Wedge Hampton.
It's not very often a judge tells someone that they had no choice but to break the law. But that's what happened today in a case involving Truehope Nutritional Support. The Alberta company makes a supplement to help people with mental disorders. It was selling its product without a drug identification number. But as Namjba Jakwen reports, the judge found them not guilty by reason of necessity.
There was relief and a feeling of vindication as company founders and supporters left the courthouse.
It shouldn't be that hard to do something good in this country, and we finally feel a little bit vindicated today over that.
In this case, regulatory enforcement cost people their lives. In this case, it caused much human suffering to those 3,000 families that required this for their lives.
Truehope Nutritional Support was charged with selling pills it created to treat bipolar disorder and depression without a drug identification number or DIN. In his decision, the judge called the case complex and unique. He said while the company was in breach of DIN regulations, it had no reasonable alternative but to disobey Health Canada's order to stop selling the product. Judge Gerald Mayer said the harm avoided was clearly and unquestionably greater than the harm inflicted. The judge said the defendants could have faced criminal prosecution if they hadn't continued to provide the supplement, and claiming they needed a drug identification number would not have been a defense.
It showed that we couldn't stop this, because if we would have stopped, our children would be institutionalized or suicided. Instead, they're living normal lives.
It's just been such a gift to be able to go from a place where there is no hope to being able to function normally.
In 2004, the company did receive special permission from the health minister to distribute the supplement, and regulations have changed, so Truehope now has a natural health product number from Health Canada. But the owners now want an inquiry into this whole incident. Najma Yaksan, CTV News, Calgary.
Health Canada is waiting for legal advice before deciding on an appeal.
They did eventually appeal and drop the appeal, because I think they realized that if they continued, that they may actually suffer with an issue of what they call abusive process, because of the fact that they actually raised these charges in the first place. But this is a wonderful victory for us. It's a wonderful victory for those people who struggle on a daily basis throughout this world, to know that they have the right to make the choice. And that's what Truehope is all about.